Welcome back to Fan to Flame Dates. On this date, we're going to talk about what social scientists like to call our emotional bank. Everyone has an emotional bank, and this is applicable for those of us who are married because I have one as a husband, Karen has one as my wife. An emotional bank is the thing that makes us feel loved and cared for and accepted. And what we want is we want to be making deposits into each other's emotional banks. We do that by, saying words of kindness, doing some acts of kindness, demonstrating sacrifice and selflessness, just going out of our way to make our spouse feel loved so that they feel secure. And just like a bank, the more we have in it, the safer we feel. And when our emotional bank's full, we feel safe in our relationships. Now, my problem is that Karen's usually going around with her bank going like this, taking out withdrawals, because I've been criticizing or disrespecting or not showing her the love that she deserves to be shown. So we're going to be letting you see some examples of how we can make deposits and withdrawals into our emotional banks. Whoa. Karen, what's that laundry doing here? It needs to go downstairs.
You're going down there. Can you take it?
Boy, what a day. Need to sit down and talk about this one. How are you doing?
Bruce, I'm doing my Bible study. Can you please get me...
Sure, hon. Thanks for listening. Karen, you usually treat me like a god with a burnt offering every night, but this is really pretty good. It's not burning. It's almost as good as my mother's, really. Karen, why don't you go on upstairs and get your jammies on and come on down and we'll watch a little TV, all right? You had a long day today. I got the dishes, no problem. Oh, man. Oh, man.
What's wrong? Sounds like you had a bad day.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about it.
KB, that was a great dinner, thanks. I appreciate all the time and effort you put into that. That was a real good dinner. It's very delicious, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bill and Jeanne are back from their honeymoon, and they've settled into their small, cozy apartment and into the daily routines of everyday life. One morning before leaving for work, Bill says,
I'm going to stay late tonight, honey, and work some overtime on this big project we have going on.
Okay. What time do you want dinner?
I'll plan on to be home by 8 o'clock or so.
Bill was excited as he thought,
I'm going to use this extra money to surprise Jeanne by starting a new house fund. She deserves a whole lot more than that small, cramped apartment. And she's such a great cook. She has no kitchen to work her magic in.
When Jeanne got home from her job, she felt alone and began to wonder,
what have I done that Bill doesn't want to be here with me? Is he unhappy? This is the only time we have to be together. Why is he working?
When Bill finally got home, he was tired, but still excited that he was on a mission to get Jeanne a better place to live. He didn't tell her of his intentions as they ate dinner together, and soon it was time for bed. Jeanne wanted to share with Bill how she felt about his not being home that evening, but she was a little afraid. Her heart was pounding as she thought,
I wonder how I can tell Bill how I'm feeling. I wish somebody was here to help me.
Just then, both of them heard a poof, and when the smoke settled, there in the middle of their bedroom was a pig holding a piggy bank. Bill wondered, what did I eat?
Hi, I'm Beauregard.
That's an unusual name. What does it mean?
Well, it means give your beau or your spouse some regard or loving.
That makes sense. Wait, why are you here?
Well, I'm here to clear up a little misunderstanding that the two of you are experiencing right now.
Misunderstanding?
Yes, and it's because you don't know that you're having it that makes my job so important. You see, I'm an emotional bank. In fact, I'm Jeanne's emotional bank.
Just then, Bill looked at Jeanne.
Look, your heart is missing.
That's me. Every one of us has an emotional bank. That place in our heart where we store all of our love currency that we receive from people and especially our spouses. You see, I work like a piggy bank. You can make deposits into me by showing acts of love, granting forgiveness, making sacrifices, speaking words of appreciation and encouragement. They all make you feel loved and appreciated. And, just like money in the bank, when your emotional bank's full, you're feeling close and safe in your relationship. You're feeling like you can and you will make it.
Well, I gotta admit, That makes sense, even for a talking pig.
But you can also make withdrawals by doing and saying things that make your spouse feel unloved. Criticism, blame, not spending time together, and again, when the bank account's low, you feel apart, insecure, and begin to wonder if you're going to make it.
That's exactly how I was feeling tonight.
Bill looked at Jeanne in horror.
What? Why is that?
Because you're not speaking Jean's love language. You didn't realize what her emotional currency is. And you made a hefty withdrawal.
Bill was confused.
Emotional currency? Like money?
Exactly. Do you see all these bills? Which one jumps out at you, Bill?
Oh, it's that American dollar bill.
And why is that?
Because I know that's what it is, and I know that's what it's worth. Those other bills don't mean anything to me.
That's right. But they have a lot of meaning to those who recognize their value. You see, Bill and Jeanne, we all have a love currency, a way in which we speak and we hear love. In fact, there's at least 8 kinds of currency that people use in communicating their love to each other. Here they are: meeting material needs, meeting emotional needs, spending time together, touch, helps, bringing out the best, saying it with words, and being on the same side. The problem comes when one spouse speaks one language and the other spouse doesn't. That's what you both experienced tonight. Bill, you were speaking a language that Jeanne doesn't value that much.
Really? What is my emotional currency?
Meeting material needs. You want to give Jeanne the biggest and the best of everything. Gifts, jewelry, a house, with that big kitchen, of course, a car, retirement, insurance. You want to make sure she doesn't have a care or a need in the world.
That's right. That's why I'm working overtime, to get Jeanne a bigger and better kitchen.
Well, there's several potential problems, Bill. When you don't have the money to speak your love language, you're frustrated because you feel you're not showing love to Jeanne by not providing for her. And you fall into the trap of becoming a workaholic. But you need to understand that when you bring home the biggest and the best to someone who doesn't speak or understand that love language, they feel bought off or unloved.
That's how I felt tonight, like you didn't want to be with me, that I wasn't as important as your work.
Jean's currency is meeting emotional needs. You see, the Frenchman, we're all about matters of the heart. Jeanne loves it when you talk and you share together and connect on an emotional level. She loves to know your heart. She wants you to drop the paper, turn on those great fan the flame dates, and share your hearts together. That's how she feels loved.
Wait, let me get this straight. So when I'm at work trying to speak my love language to Jeanne, she's home alone wondering if I really do love her because I'm not there sharing my heart?
Bingo! You're catching on, Bill. There's another currency that's very similar to meeting emotional needs, and that's spending time together. Time is the one thing we all get the same amount of, 24 hours in every day. So how we spend those hours demonstrates our priorities, the loves of our life. So when we spend time with our spouses or children, we're saying that they are important.
Oh, well, that sounds like another love language Jeanne is fluent in.
Yes, I do like spending time together.
We all struggle with time and priorities. We need to realize that quality of time and quantity of time are related. Small talk takes time, but it always leads to significant talk.
You're right. It does take a while for us to get talking about the important stuff.
Wow, this is fascinating, Beauregard. Are there any more languages that we should be aware of?
Touch is another love currency. Holding hands, snuggling, back or foot rubs, and yes, even those hugs and kisses of Eros love are all powerful communicators of love to those who speak this language. People who speak this language need to be careful that they do so with pure motives. You're demonstrating love and not trying to selfishly get somewhere else.
Beauregard, I think we both understand this one.
When one spouse helps the other with a job that's usually thought to be the other spouse's job, that says, I love you, those sacrificial actions speak loudly to those who speak helps.
Like Jeanne mowing the lawn.
Or Bill doing the laundry.
Exactly. But we need to be careful that we don't miscommunicate here either. Sometimes your spouse can hear, you can't do this by yourself. You're not smart enough or not competent enough. I have to help you.
Ah, I see how that wouldn't be a good message.
Yeah, I hope you don't hear that from me. Hey, there's still a few more left, Beauregard.
Helps is a little like the next one, bringing out the best. This is creating an environment, a greenhouse or a garden, where your spouse can become all that he or she can become. The speaker of this language gives lots of encouragement and help to make sure their spouse reaches their goals. Sending one back for more training or education or professional or personal enrichment. You don't want your marriage to be a desert, that place that screams, "You're not talented enough or smart enough. You won't change. You're too lazy. You're complacent and satisfied with mediocrity."
Beauregard, I think we're missing an obvious love language.
Well, what is that, Jeanne?
Saying I love you.
Ah, very good. And you're right about that language. It's called saying it with words. We can write them, share them on the phone, text them. Hey, if you're creative enough, you can write a poem or sing them in a song. The most important thing to remember about this language is to make sure that all the other messages you're sending your spouse are saying you love them too.
I must really speak this one because I love it when Bill tells me that he loves me.
Another one is being on the same side. Here's where you support and show loyalty to your spouse in public. You don't compare him or her to others. Watch out for your humor.
Beauregard, I have to be careful here. I can tell some funny stories that embarrass Jeanne.
I'm glad you're sensitive to that, Bill, but you also need to protect her from overscheduling, the in-laws and the outlaws, and when kids show up, you'll have to protect each other from their influences on your lives. The spouse who speaks this language is like a lineman in a football game. He moves all the obstacles out of the way so his wife can shine. But you have to be careful. If you don't protect her, she's going to get sacked, and it's going to take her for a pretty big loss.
Talking pig telling me about a pigskin. Hey, can't Jeanne play guard too?
What are you saying?
Well, this is a good time for me to leave. I may show up again from time to time when I see some more opportunities to teach you about making deposits into each of your emotional banks.
And with that, Beauregard was gone.
Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed Beauregard and his overview of the 8 love languages. And, you know, each of us speaks a love language and understands one, and they don't necessarily need to be the same language. For example, I love to speak meeting material needs, making sure that everybody's well taken care of and we have, you know, the best that we can have that I can provide. And I've fallen into the rat race that Beauregard's talking about in terms of workaholism and maybe not being sensitive to Karen's primary love language because I was so busy speaking mine that I didn't hear it. And the love language I like to receive is I like touch. I like back rubs. I like, you know, snuggling, and that's kind of my love language that I like to receive. What's the love language that you think you speak and receive the best?
Well, I receive words of encouragement the best. That energizes me and keeps me going. And I find, though, that I speak to him meeting material needs, making a nice dinner, doing the laundry, keeping a nice house, those kinds of things, when his love language to receive is more the physical touch of hugs and back rubs and that kind of thing. So you can see where we speak different love languages according to what we think they would like.
Now what we want you to do is in the need and need knows to know section of this date, we have 2 little exercises for you. One is an inventory that's going to help you get a better idea of what your love languages are. And probably you speak a little bit of all 8 of them. Okay, so this is going to help you begin to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I speak all 8.
Yeah, fluently, I think. But anyway, and then you're going to talk to each other about what you believe your spouse's number 1 language is, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, etc., and see how well you know each other. Because the goal of this activity is to learn how we can put the most deposits into our spouse's emotional bank. Because the more deposits we have in there, the safer we feel, the closer we get, and the more we fan the flame.